Style for Life. I'm Stephanie Rumble, fashion stylist, accountability coach, and your guide to feeling good in your body and your clothes. Based in Christchurch, New Zealand, I bring over 3 decades of experience in fashion, fitness, and wellness to help you feel strong, stylish, and self-assured. Together we'll explore the emotional, physical, and practical sides of style, because true confidence starts from within. No matter your age or size, you deserve to feel confident and show up as the best version of you. I truly believe this. This is Style for Life. Hello everyone, I'm really excited today to have beautiful Gina on the podcast with me again. Now, we have heard from Gina before because she obviously has talked to us about her amazing kinesiology business, but there's been something else brewing in the background with Gina for a few weeks, and we thought it was time to share with you all what's been going on with her and let you all know what's been happening. So Gina, hi again, how are you?
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm really good.
That's good. So we have been working together, doing some accountability work.
Yes, yep, for the past, it's been 8 weeks now.
It's been probably not, has it been 9?
9, yep, 9 weeks this week.
Yeah. And what motivated you to reach out to me about your health?
Personally, I had just moved to Queenstown last year in July and had put a bit of weight on after that and noticed that I wasn't really looking after myself. And on a physical level, I felt really stuck. I didn't know what to do. I thought I was doing the right things. And I actually saw a post that you did of sharing someone's results that I resonated with deeply. Same weight, same situation, and mum. I was like, and I think I just messaged you straight away, wasn't it? Like, bam, I want to chat. And you were like, yeah, let's chat tomorrow. And then we started 2 days later. So it was just all meant to be, I reckon. But I was really stuck in my physical weight that I'd gained, and I didn't feel good in my body. And I knew that I was accepting of how I was. I wasn't disliking it, but I knew that I could look after myself better.
Yeah, totally. And you when you initially reached out, I was like, yes, I can probably help you. And obviously it was the summer still, it was quite warm. Yeah. And then we've worked, obviously it's been 9 weeks now, we've worked together and it's got really cold. So what's the journey that you've been on for the past 8 weeks? Like, how did it unfold for you? And how have you felt along the way?
Yeah, so I found it really exciting. When it first happened, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This feels right. The first week or 7 days was challenging in the sense that I realized how shitty my habits were with snacking and not choosing the right foods. And I think the biggest thing that you'll probably remember is when you were telling me about the calories and I was like, what? Sausages are I was blown away. So the first 1 to 2 to 3 weeks was the most challenging. But in fact, day 10 of week 2 was when I fractured my foot. So I started this challenge with a hiss and a roar, got to exercising, was running. Within day 7, I was doing runs, and then I fractured my foot. So yeah, week 2 was a total change in plan, which in hindsight was actually beautiful because I got the rest I needed. I was still able to work out because it got me back to swimming. It got me back to my love of swimming from when I was younger. After those couple of weeks, realizing about the food, releasing the need for snacking, and then I got back into RPM, I think by about week 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. And it was really powerful because I think as I was moving through those weeks, first I realized my habits, how terrible they were, and I wasn't looking after myself. Mm-hmm. I realized the power of accountability. I so enjoyed being held accountable, having someone making to go to, and you were so clear and in a really nice way. It was I needed that accountability, and I realized the power of it. I realized how important it is to break those habits that I'd been doing, snacking and not looking after myself. Yeah, the calories, the mum life getting in the way, and thinking if you're not busy grabbing a banana and a peanut butter toast and that's your meal for the day, how I wasn't eating enough protein or anywhere enough veggies. I reckon I must have had 4 bits of broccoli at dinner. That was my veggies in the day. So by about week 3, I think the first 2 weeks I was like, this is so many veggies. This is, ugh. By about week 3, I was like, oh, whoa, I feel good eating these veggies. It was like they were giving me life. So I loved adding in the veggies. I loved rejigging my food and upping the protein, which actually kept me fuller, kept me more clearer, made me happier, just more satiated between the meals. Is that the right word? Satiated?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And I really noticed, and I think we went back quite a lot in those first 4 weeks, or you didn't have enough carbs. So I had to redo how I thought of carbs, because I had carbs are the devil, like everyone thinks they're bad. And the fact that you're like, no, you need those carbs in that meal. I was like, oh my God. And that was amazing. Yeah, so much, like letting go of me thinking how I should do it. I was so restricted in some of my beliefs around, carbs, fat. I had grown, like, the last couple of years, my husband did keto. I'd taken on some of those ways of eating, which do not serve me because they were high calorie, high carbs, and I'd mix them. So just like really having the clarity of being guided through this with your knowledge just was an absolute like transformation. And the foot thing was actually a blessing. It got me back to swimming, got me back to RPM. And then I think by about week 4 or 5, that's when we really needed to bring in structure.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. I was really careful though with you because, oh my gosh, you're the only person I've ever had that's broken their foot doing accountability. And I really appreciated what I really appreciated about Gina at this point too, for everyone who's listening, is that she pivoted with me. Obviously not on that foot, but so she pivoted with me. So I was like, okay, Gina, you've broken your foot. You cannot run, you cannot wait there, you cannot do anything, but there's no reason why you can't exercise, right? And I think that was a mindset shift. And I was like, let's go swimming. And a lot of my clients are like, oh, I hate swimming. And I personally don't like it much, but I've been swimming this week because I've got an injured calf. And I've gone back to the pool and it's actually not that bad. It's quite good.
Yeah.
So you just need the right goggles. The first time
you do when they leak.
Or when they suck your eyes out, so they stand out like my eyes went, whoo! So I got that sorted this morning, right? So it's getting the right goggles. So I think that all of those things, right? Getting everything organised. So just in terms of going swimming, tell us a wee bit about how that unfolded for you. Because obviously you've got 2 little beautiful daughters and busy husband and you're trying to juggle. How did you manage the swimming?
It was all about, I had to choose me. So I had to like prioritize myself. I had to structure and plan. And that's why week 4 or 5, I was winging it a bit in the first couple of weeks. But then as soon as I had to do my RPM, my swimming, I needed to choose me. So it was about choosing me, communicating with him and the kids, and letting go of like, they were okay to be in the pool as well. Like they're old enough now, they know how to swim. Like mummy's going to do some laps, come over and check in with me. And communicating with my husband and my kids and choosing myself. And I had to structure and plan and stick with it. Even on the days when I didn't feel like swimming, even if I got in the pool and did 15 laps, I felt better. So it wasn't like, I think one of the biggest things was letting go of the perfection of how things needed to be, and knowing that on a day where I don't want to get in, if I get in, even if I do 10, I'm growing that, the neurotropic, there's that growth factor in the brain that actually increases when you do challenging things. I was doing that. And every time I did that, I chose myself. And it was like a reprogramming of choosing myself, of years of looking after my husband, my kids, never choosing myself, putting myself last. I had to choose me because it actually all begins with self. It begins with you. And if you don't look after yourself, how can you look after other people? So in fact, the nutrition and the output of the exercise was choosing me constantly. So I was making myself. I switched to, every mum will relate to this. You make all your kids, your husband food, and then you get the scraps. You'll shove in an egg and piece of cheese. And so I was switched to choosing me for food. I made my meal first. I made sure I was not hungry. I fed myself with veggies and protein. Then it was like, okay, what do you guys want? And that actually served me so well. Like it was transformational doing that.
Yeah, and I think to start with, like we played a wee bit with the food to start with.
It was hard, yeah. I tried to do the food bags and
And you tried food bag, but it wasn't quite right for your family. So, but you got some ideas about what to eat and how to eat out of that process. And then we just worked forward. I remember a couple of weeks you really sat with the recipes and planned, and we talked through what you were going to cook. And now I haven't heard much about that. I'm assuming you're just kind of making it part of your family culture. Is that right?
Yep. So on Sundays I prep. So either I'll make like kumara or my coleslaw, some hummus, some pickled beetroot. I'll make a couple of things. And if I don't do it, I'll do it on a Monday or something. I'm kind of not as like strict, but now it's how I live my life now. It's not a thing I have to do. Like, I think in the first couple of weeks I was thinking, oh my God, when this ends, how am I going to do this? But now I'm like, you've supported me so well that this has changed my life. It's not like a 8-week challenge that ends. It's like, this is how I want to live my life now. And I want to make these choices because I feel way better and I'm a better human.
You look you look so different too. Like in terms of like, obviously there's been a lot of internal changes and a lot of changes in habit and changes in process and changes in the way that you're feeling about yourself, but also just the physical change. What have you lost in this time that we've been working together? Like, so
Yeah.
you want to share where you started,
Yes.
where you're
Yep.
at this point and where you want to go, or where you've,
Yep.
you know,
Yep. So I started at 73.3 kgs. That was
and you're,
my heaviest.
and how tall are you?
167.
Yeah.
So the BMI, I can't remember what that was. It'll be somewhere in my notes somewhere. But I think it's just over 7 kgs now. So I'm 66.3. And like in regards to physical transformation, it's been huge for me because I actually didn't believe that I could have a physical transformation. I thought this was just the way it is. Do you know what? I thought I was just going to be like this forever. I wasn't hating my body, but I feel in a physical sense like completely transformed. I can feel my collarbone, my arms feel better, my clothes are not tight. Like physically, it's been the biggest transformation. And I think we underestimate the importance of a physical side of things when we're working with the body. We can work with the emotions and the mental and the spiritual, but physical is really the foundation for everything. So for me, physically, yeah, just over 7 kgs. Inches, I can't remember how many, but at least a couple of inches. Like my jeans, when I pull them, there's
I
like,
saw them.
yeah, there's like 2 inches. Look at that.
Which is amazing, and you know, really, I just want to say here too that all of this has been together and learning for Gina. Like she wanted to improve overall, and the weight loss comes as a really nice side effect of this. So you know, putting all of the other things in place means that byproduct happens,
Yeah.
which is really important. And I think too, you have also like been really consistent. I think that's one of the things that's really helped you. You know, we had a few ups and downs, and you've navigated going out. You've been through a wedding. You've
Yep.
like broken your foot. You've
Yep.
had lots of
Had
kids.
birthday parties and things
Yeah.
where I've eaten a bit of this and that and told you and been like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then we've gone, okay, well, if you've had that, probably you just need to come home and have a just some vegetables, and then
Yep.
it's done. So
Yep.
I think that's really part of it as well, is just sort of understanding, you know, what you need to do. So tell us about your energy levels and how that might have shifted as well.
Profoundly shifted. I think usually in the afternoons I would be absolutely crashing. I'd be needing to have a second coffee. I'd be, you know, like struggling to kind of get through that afternoon. But since when I eat enough veggies, protein, the carbs, the balance, I just get through my days. I'm brighter, I'm happier, I'm clearer. Even my husband said, "Oh my God, you're so much happier." The kids are like laughing at me because I'm not as grumpy and tired and reactive as I was when I wasn't feeling good. And yeah, energy levels profound, like huge shift. I would say like I sit at about an 8 or 9 out of 10. Yeah, that flows with my menstrual cycle. Obviously day 1 and day 2 I'm lower energy, but that's completely normal.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, profound shifts in energy and happiness and clarity, nervous system regulation as well. That's been really awesome with the increased protein, really supporting my nervous system, and yeah, greater capacity for life and happiness and things that happen. So
Yes.
yeah, moving through things easier.
So, you know, something comes up that might have been stressful in the past, whereas now you're like, okay, well, you know what, I can handle this. I
Yep.
can just
Yep.
move forward. It's amazing how much food is medicine.
It
Right?
is. Yeah. So I think I said to you this week, last week I had dropped off the amount of veggies we had. We had my daughter's birthday. We're eating out a bit. I still ate healthy, but I didn't eat as much veggies. My energy levels definitely went down. I think I messaged you on Sunday. I was like, oh my God. And I had my first, like, my eggs and beautiful, like, coleslaw and carrot and pickled beetroot. And I ate that meal and my happiness went up from like 2 out of 10 to 8 out of 10. And I was like, this is within eating it. I was like, holy shit. And I remember you talking, saying the veggies are vitality. And I really felt the importance of that. When I eat properly and eat enough vegetables, I feel happier. Like they're literally like, yeah, the power of food.
It's all those micronutrients that I think
Yeah.
we forget that come in those in our vegetables. So like
Yeah.
we can exist entirely on vegetables, and I think that's something that, you know, your parents tell you to eat them, and when you're a child we always want the uber
Yeah.
processed foods and all those things that give us the instant dopamine hit. But I think that's the power, and I think you've really experienced it, and your skin looks clearer as well, Gina.
Yeah. My skin's a lot clearer. Like, and everyone's saying, they're like, gosh, your skin's so glowing. And I literally, you know, put hardly anything on and my skin's just supple and not so dry, and I feel more like alive. So it's like the life within me is like beaming.
Yeah. And so one of the things that, and I can really see that too. And one of the things that I I think that you've said to me too, and you've alluded to it just earlier in the conversation, is, you'd been very focused in your past on healing, dealing with the spiritual, the emotional, all of those other things. What was the barrier for you before we connected around the physical?
The barrier for me, and I have spent a bit of time reflecting on this, because for me, it was actually a big missing element that I was not seeing, the physical layer. So because previous to all of this and on our other interview, because I came from a history of, I had postnatal anxiety and PTSD, and I wasn't, previous to what I went through with finding kinesiology, I was an A-type, go-getter. So I exercised really hard and burnt myself out. So I had some beliefs and restrictions that I didn't want to do that anymore, and I wanted to look after myself. And I was in this new era of intuitiveness and looking after your body and not going too hard, but I almost went too far the other way. So I went like, I'll just take it easy, it'll be okay. And I actually took the pedal off the metal and lost a lot of the structure and thought, it'll be all right, I'll just do what I do. But in fact, like, my body loves movement. Movement is amazing. Energy and motion. Energy and motion, you need motion to move things. So I had underestimated the layer and the potency of the physical transformation of the physical body. And for me, because I had PTSD and postnatal anxiety that I'd healed on all those levels, there was still some physical stuff I was carrying in regards to protection around that trauma, which was in my physical body. So as I've shed the kgs over these 9 weeks, I've been shedding the trauma and the cellular trauma on a physical level, and I've felt this level of protection leaving my body, and I feel more able to be myself, to be more seen, to be like in my body, to be in my power. For me, it's been a real physical transformation of just like another layer of healing that I underestimated. And I think it's really important when we're working with healing, we go physical, mental, and emotional. We look at all levels. If you're high in one level, you need to look at the other ones. It's not about always being perfect, but it's about juggling them. So you're looking at all of them and then choosing what's right for you. Because yes, in some stages, physically you might not be up to doing RPM and swimming, but you might be okay for doing walks and stretching and exercise, and then adding some in when your nervous system's regulated.
It's so interesting you say this, and I've learned along this way from your journey too, because I've got clients who have been extremely good in the physical, like really good in the physical, but they really don't deal with the mental health or the emotional and spiritual health, and they still end up with physical weight, or they end up with physical issues. So very much, so they're very interrelated. And I was having this conversation with my sister actually recently, and she was saying, she's a psychologist, she was saying that, she's feeling a lot better because some things have happened and changed in her life, and her immunity's better. So I think we disregard the interconnection between the two. And if we just slam the physical, like you said in the past you've done, probably the cortisol stays up and the weight stays. But if we deal with the physical in a way that works for your body, and we're dealing with the emotional and spiritual, which you're really, really good at, then I think that it comes off too. And I think, although for me, I don't have to worry about my weight now, it's in hand. One of the things that you've taught me in your practices to deal with the spiritual and the physical, and emotional as well, which is really important because I'm really good at the physical. So I just really suppose I want the listeners to get that and human beings aren't just one element. We're many elements joined together, and if we don't address each one when we're ready and at the right time, we are going to end up with either mental health issues or physical health issues. Now, you addressed quite extensively your mental health in a really profound, deep and thorough way. And, now that physical layers started to, dissipated.
Yeah. Literally.
Literally. And are you feeling a bit cold being in Queensland?
I'm not in here because I've got my heat pump on like 30 degrees. No, about 25. But it is freezing. Oh, do you mean since losing the weight?
Yes.
No. I feel like I feel the cold anyway, but I feel I'm so much more stable. So I think because my hormones are balanced, my nervous system's balanced, I'm stable in myself and I'm happy. I'm like more in tune with the environment, so I can feel the cold. Like I feel good. I feel more in harmony with everything.
Yeah, which is so good.
More in tune.
Yeah. And so look, I think there's a whole societal thing, and you've alluded to this too, about being a little bit apprehensive or unsure about talking about and dealing with the physical. I think we have a society of wanting to be accepting, and look, please everyone know that I'm very accepting of you, whoever you are, wherever you're at your journey. And it's when people come to me and express that they're ready to move on that I step in and help in this way that we have helped each other. Because I've known you for like, what is it, like 20 years, Gina?
Yeah, 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. And, like we hadn't had this conversation before because it wasn't the right time for you or for me, but it was the right time for you this time. So, somebody, I just really, I suppose what I'm getting to is asking you, what would you tell other people who perhaps are not sure about the health journey and the process, about if they're hanging back a little bit, what would you say to them?
I think the biggest thing that I would say is if you're not feeling okay where you are and you're feeling like you don't know what to do or you're not quite sure what to do, or you might think there's nothing I can do, there is. So it's not to lose hope, and it's actually to choose yourself. And we can only see as far as our blinkers are on. So I am a big believer of getting support in areas where you need it. So I'm really good at supporting myself mentally, emotionally. I have my support systems mentally, emotionally too, because I don't see things. But on the physical sense, I really needed that support. So it's like, choose yourself, get support in areas where you need it, and then don't give up hope. Like, do not give up hope. You do not. I could have easily stayed at 73 kgs and gone through in the stories of, when you're 40, I just turned 40, you put on more weight. When you've got kids, you're not as happy and you have less energy. You always look after others and you're tired. I could have lived in those stories, but I chose no more because I knew I feel really uncomfortable. And I did explore the mental, emotional sense of this physical journey when I weighed myself in December. It was actually my wedding anniversary. I was like, oh, wow, I'm like 7 kgs heavier than what I normally am, or 8 kgs. I was like, that's cool. This is about acceptance of self. So I went on the journey myself around that for 3 months and worked through quite a lot of that. And I was like, oh, it's not that. Wonder what it is. And that's when I was like, I need support here. So it's like investing in your well-being is profound. Like, not and on all levels, physical, mental, emotional, like looking after yourself. When you fill your cup first, you can look after other people. But if you've got an empty cup and you're not feeling okay, you're just draining your cup and you're not looking after yourself, and your body will whisper, then I've always got the saying, like the feather, the brick, and then the train. So this, at any, like the different stages, mind, body, soul, you'll start getting whispers, and if you ignore them, they'll turn into a brick, and if you ignore that, it turns into a train, and there's a chaos and something drastic happens in your life. And it's not always the case. I'm not saying that is what happens, but your body's always whispering to you. So it's like, look after yourself, choose yourself, and never, ever, ever give up hope.
I 100% agree with you. Gosh, you're very much reflection of how I think about this too. And I think one of the things you really touched on there that is really key is that whole focusing on you, like the whole mum journey. Like we live in a society where we're almost raised to believe that we should put everyone else first, right? And I'm so grateful that you've caught yourself at 40, because I get women who are 60 still working through this, and you have now this pathway where you know what you need. And I think that's what's really important here, is when you can look after you. Like, and I remember this when my children were really small, like babies. I used to get up at 4:45 in the morning so I could get some exercise, because my husband had to go to work at 7. And you can relate to this as well. And it sounded extreme, but that meant I could show up for my children in the way I needed to. And so, if you are speaking to a mum who is struggling to show up for herself or struggling with this, like, what advice would you give her?
I would give her, like, start with something small, like by choosing you. So don't try and do like 10 things at once, but start with something small by choosing you, and then build on that and keep choosing you every single day. Like, and it can be the simplest of thing. I can, like, as a busy mum, I know, like, choosing you can mean going and having your cup of tea outside with your feet on the ground for 5 minutes. And then you see the power with the sun on your skin. Then you choose, today I'm choosing to go for a walk. It's really hard for mums. Like, I remember I've gone for a few walks when I wanted to over this time at dinner time, and I had to communicate my needs to my husband and say, this is really important to me. I want to go for a walk. Can you take over this? Yep, sure. And I went off for the walk. So I chose me again and again. And every time I chose me, the empowerment within built. And then it was like, it became not hard and it became easy, because if I didn't choose me, then I'm not looking after my family properly because I'm coming from a place of where I'm angry, restricted, not have much capacity. I'm tired. I know I can be a better mum when I choose myself. So it's choose yourself in any way possible. If you have no idea what you want to do or what you can do, just have conversations with people. Like you and me as people and practitioners working with people, have the conversation with someone. Don't sit there thinking there's nothing I can do. I'm never going to change. You've lost the hope. Don't lose hope. There is always hope. Like when I think back at my stories, there were pivotal points where I chose me and chose that I'm going to do something about this. So it's like never lose the hope.
So good. I love that. I like the two things that came out of that conversation for me. Was the first was that taking those really small steps and obviously losing the hope, but the small steps was really key for us to start with too. When we started this journey, we just started first of all working out the food. Like let's get the food sorted, and then we started exercising. You broke your foot, So I think that was the thing I often do with people. Like your sleep was fine. Your stress levels, you're good at managing that. So those two things were in hand. So for you, it was nutrition first, then activity, and then we continued with the nutrition and activity right through. So like you said, you don't want to slam dunk all decisions all at once, because as soon as you do that, it gets so hard to manage, and then you do give up hope. But I also, on the hope one of the things that I really always believe is I believe my clients can do it. Often before they do. Because I knew that you could, and it wasn't like for you, it was hard because there's times where it was hard. But overall, how would you just say that this has been a really difficult process or a really difficult journey?
No, absolutely not. It's been empowering. Like I know that I knew that it was going to be challenging. I didn't think about it being challenging. I gave away my control and I surrendered to you, and I chose to be honest with you about how I was going. And I remember vividly, like in the weeks where we might have a weigh, and I noticed some patterns showing up, how I was weighing myself more than what I needed to. And I remember I verbalized everything with you, like I was communicating clearly with you, which you helped me. I was like, oh shit, there's that pattern. So a big thing that came out for me was like noticing the habits and patterns and ways of thinking, and you helped me with those. So it's like, for anything, this was the most empowering, life-changing transformation that I've had. Like it was like everything kind of went together. And yes, it was challenging, but I was supported the whole way. And the way that you made the changes for me from the very start, it was achievable. You were like, don't faff around with that. Don't calorie count. Have this, don't have that. No, get sausages out. I was like, Googled sausages. What the hell, like 180 calories per sausage? I was having 3 or 4 at a barbecue, like that's like 2 meals. It was amazing. Like it was empowering, very empowering. And the power of accountability and having the support of you was like amazing. And you've empowered me because your knowledge and power has, like, I remember, as I said, week 3 or 4, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to even not have her there. But now I'm on week 8 or 9. I'm like, I got this. Like I love checking in with you and love your support with things. But like, we've got to the stage now where you've empowered me so much that I've got all the knowledge now. Like, I feel empowered in my life, and I don't want to stop doing the things the way I do things. And it's not about being perfect as well. It's about like, okay, if you do have a slip up here, go for an extra walk, have some extra veggies, choose a better option here, do some exercise. It's like, for me, that's really important to be malleable. So I've loved that aspect.
And that's really true, and thank you for that too. I appreciate the comments. I think the thing is, Gina, that what you said there, which is really key too, and this is kind of might come out the wrong way, but you just sort of relented. You let the control go, and I think it's not that I want to control anybody, but if you can just let someone else take the steering wheel for a while until you get on track. And what I've heard is you've taken that back. So in the last few weeks, I've been quite busy and preoccupied with work, and I said to you, how are you going? And you're like, I kind of got this. And you had, as you said, last week was a birthday party, and it wasn't quite, things didn't go exactly as planned, but you got back on the wagon. And I think that's the real key in life. Like, going forward into life, you're in a really good health place now. You're going on a little bit of a tropical holiday, aren't you? I know.
Put my bikini on.
And
excited about that. I'm like, oh,
I can't wait. Yeah. Good. And so you should feel proud of yourself and happy that you're comfortable in that place. You might have been comfortable in the past, but you're going to feel way more
I would have tried to feel most comfortable and made myself feel comfortable, but it would have been a trying effort. I deeply inside, I didn't feel comfortable with who I was, but now I feel it. I feel it from within. I look at my body and I feel good within me. I'm not trying to feel good. I'm like,
Yeah, and I can see it. Like when we post this, we'll post some photos and before and afters. Gina's been amazing at taking photos through the journey. We kind of slipped up on the measurements, but we got the photos going. So
we'll have the photos of the clothes.
yeah, she sent me a video. So at some point, we'll post this, but we'll also post some other. I'll put a reel up on Instagram with your whole journey and a few snippets of this as well, so we can actually see how that's gone. So again, there's been a lot. I think now going forward, what are you going to take away that's going to be different in your life from what it was before?
So much. The power of structure and planning in your life and how much that's needed I'm a mum of two, I've got a business, I'm looking after a household, I've got juggling everything. Power of structure and planning, the power of accountability. I can actually keep myself accountable. The power of if you make a slip up, it's not the end of the world. Jump back on the bus, make the better choices. It's like that. It's like the power of belief as well. And letting go and surrendering and trusting in what's happening. The more you let go, the deeper you go. So the more you let go, the deeper you go on all levels, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. The more you let go, the more you're supported in all senses. So yeah, there's quite a few takeaways, but knowing that I have the power of choice to make choices in my life, not giving that away to my kids and my husband and my situation because of the chaos I could have easily been sucked into that chaos, but I chose to make a difference. So the power of choice.
Yeah, very good. Oh, it's been so lovely. Always it's lovely working with you. So yeah, you're the only guest that's been on my show twice in a short period of time. But we just felt like it was really important to share this process. And obviously you've had some great insights along the way, and I've really appreciated, your enthusiasm and because it can be hard to feel enthusiastic when it's cold and you're trying to exercise and your food's different and you're trying to figure it all out. But yeah, no, I'm super proud of you and super grateful that we've got to work together again in this context. So Gina, thank you so much for coming on the podcast again, and also for sharing your journey. We will obviously share some clips of this across the socials, and you guys will get to see some photos. So thank you so much again, and thank you everyone. Do you want to add any final comments before we close?
Just never losing hope and choosing you over and over again, and knowing that when you choose yourself, you're not only choosing you, but you're choosing the well-being of everyone around you as well.
100%. Thank you so much, Gina, for everything today, and thank you everyone else for listening. Thank you for listening to the Style for Life podcast. Don't forget, you deserve to feel fabulous at every age, every stage, and at every size. If you're loving the show, hit subscribe and leave a review. It helps more amazing people like you find their way back to life through style. Thanks again. Until next time.